Just because you're married doesn't mean your spouse will inherit your stuff automatically. Married couples often assume that if something happens to one spouse, the other spouse automatically inherits everything. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. And sometimes there just needs to be a process to make it official. So when couples assume the law will take care of everything, they many times will unintentionally leave their spouse dealing with court proceedings and legal complications. Today we're going to talk about estate planning decisions married couples should make before children enter into the picture. So in this time of your life, one of the biggest things to be concerned about is the Texas community property. So Texas is a community property state. Now, what that means is that most assets that you've acquired during the marriage are owned equally by both spouses. But property ownership can still become complicated when someone passes away. Some assets may be separate property, some property may be jointly owned, and then some may have assets with beneficiary designations. Each of these can transfer in a different way. So wills may still be important in this situation with married couples, and want to clarify in those wills or even in the trust who inherits separate property. So separate property is any property that was acquired before the marriage or by a gift or inheritance. So anything you receive from grandma, that's considered separate property. And as long as you've kept it separate, it will stay separate. And you also want to say who's going to administer your estate. You want to make sure your spouse, if that's the way you want things to go, for them to be able to administer the estate. And you want to make sure that the property is distributed properly. And how is it going to be distributed if both spouses pass away? Without a will or a trust, Texas intestacy law will determine those outcomes. You also want to another important part of estate planning for married couples before children come into play is incapacity planning. You want to make sure that your spouse is explicitly given authority to act on your behalf. You want to make sure that those documents that document that are in place, so that your spouse doesn't have any kind of problems or issues when you are needing them to be there for you. So some examples would be a bank may require a power of attorney if you are incapacitated and your spouse is trying to pay bills from the account or move money into the joint account to pay for bills. That may not be allowed if you don't have a power of attorney. Healthcare providers may require medical authorizations. They may not be willing to tell you what's wrong with your own spouse. So you want to make sure that you've got that in there, because once you're married, it's you two against the world. And you need to make sure you provide the tools so that you can be that team and help each other out when that may come. And then planning documents will help avoid delays and confusion. Even if a couple doesn't have children yet, they want to think about future guardians, trust structure, beneficiary designations. Early planning will create a foundation that can be updated later. Now, one of the things that you want to take away is, even though you may not have the next level of beneficiaries, like for kids, if you're married, you want to make sure that you document how you want your assets to go. There may be some family assets that you want to go to your family. You want it to stay in the family, and you may not want it to go to your spouse or to your spouse's family. So you want to make sure that those wishes and those intricacies are handled. You also want to make it easy for your spouse to be able to take care of the things that they need to take care of for you. And if both of you pass, you want to make sure that you have your estate go the way you both have agreed, and how those things can go, so that way your family has a smooth transition. So if you have liked what you've heard today and you find this useful, please give us a like, follow the podcast, and let us know in the comments any questions you may have, or anything you think we should talk about in this series on estate planning for various stages of your life. Now, if you like what you've heard and you want to learn more about protecting your family and avoiding probate, you can attend my webinar, Bulletproof Your Legacy. We'll provide that information in the show notes or in the link in the information below. Until the next time, we'll talk to you later. And don't forget, you want to make sure that you plan, and that plan is something that can protect you, save you from healthcare decisions or lack thereof, because people don't have authority to decide or can't take action because they lack the right paperwork. You don't want that to be you. Anyway, thank you, and we'll see you next time.